Retro Rob plays everything.
Hey, Rob here, and in this box is the Revo K101, which claims to be a 100% Game Boy Advance compatible handheld gaming system. Also does a little bit of emulation of pretty much every other handheld. So, this actually started out as they were looking to make a brighter screened Game Boy Advance, basically, because, you know, the Game Boy Advance series didn't have a backlight. The SP did have a backlight, and the Micro had a backlight, but the Micro was tiny, and the SP, the first version of it, was really dim, and the second version was really expensive. So what they were looking for is something that could kind of bridge that gap, and thus came the Revo K101 that I've got right here. Let's unbox it. Anyway, it's had kind of mixed reviews. Most people really like it. There are some pluses and some negatives. If you look at it as a emulation machine, and I'll list what game systems it emulates up here somewhere while I'm talking. It's not what it was meant to be. It was really meant to be a Game Boy SP replacement, or, you know, really a Game Boy Advance replacement. So it actually uses Game Boy cartridges, but it can also read ROMs, which makes it kind of interesting, right? Oh man, that light went to heck, didn't it? Anyway, it didn't get brighter. It's just the camera doing this. Anyway, here's the box, and it's, yeah, there, good. Thank goodness. It does have a real box in it. I was wondering what was going to happen with that. And here is the box itself. Got a bit of graphic glitching on there. Huh? It's derezzing. Ah. All right, there it is. The box. Here, I'm going to change my camera angle real quick because that just looks like crap. Hold on. All right, so here's the Revo K101 box in all its glory. It has two little thumb holds. The box itself, it's fairly heavy. It's not like a cheapo box, so nice. About board game quality, I'd say. A bit of foam. There is the Revo K101. I'm sorry, Revo K101 Plus. Of course, the 101 was the earlier model. This corrects a few of the issues that were with the earlier ones. There appears to be this charge device firstly. The red indicator light in orange will be shut down once battery power is full. Oh boy. Using Panasonic converter format, micro SD card not offered. Download extract the cheat database. Download and extract the game pick collection. Find the root named K system and make a folder in it. Insert the game pick and cheat directories into the K system folder. Drag and drop homebrew or some ROMs. Insert micro SD card into the K card. Insert K card into the Revo K101. And turn on the system and enjoy. And of course, you can find more on their website. So there was the rather scary instructions. Let's see, what do we got with it? Looks like an extra set of contacts. Some kind of screen protector. Oh yeah, I guess it would fit on it. Screen's not as big as I thought it was going to be. This is the adapter because of course it has TV out. And that is just basic RCA, mono. Here we have the charge adapter and standard USB to wall. And I assume that this is a standard USB to micro USB. Yes, I believe it is. All right. Here we go. Moment of truth. It's the weight's okay. It's not quite Nintendo weight, but it does have some heft to it. Feels pretty decent. The buttons have a little bit of mush to them. I like a little bit of mush, so this actually feels pretty good to me. They feel okay. They don't feel super cheap. Again, not quite Nintendo quality, but pretty good. As does the surface of the device. It has a good, decent feel to it. It's, you know, it's not bad. It's really quite good. It's definitely better than like most Famiclones. And I like the fact that they used a regular D-pad on here. They didn't try to get fancy. There's a little bit of mush there. It's not bad. There's a little bit of mush there. Okay, anyway, let's take a look at the front of the device. Headphone jack. This is a Game Boy Advance adapter. You can put an SD micro card in there and load ROMs onto it. This will, of course, also run original Game Boy Advance games. Do I have one here? Yeah. This is just whatever I had laying around, so. But, yep, see? It just snaps right in there. You know, I don't know. Does it do Game Boy regular games or Game Boy Color? Hold on. Good camera work there. Good camera work. While they snap in there, we'll see if they work or not. Alright, so let's just put that guy in there. Okay, let's look at the ports. This side. Ooh, can you get that? There we go. Okay, link cable. AV out. That is for that RCA adapter I showed you earlier. I believe this is the controls for the brightness. Charger port. Power button. Already showed you that side. Volume control right here. There's also, of course, these guys. So we'll see if this needs a charger or not. I'll try and power it up real quick. I've got a Game Boy Advance game in there. Well, the power light came on. Little string there, but looks like it'll wipe off. Well, the here, let's get that there. The screen is very, very bright. Looks nice. Not bad. Sounds a little tin. And that's Beyblades. Alright, let's try a Game Boy Advance game. I mean, a regular Game Boy game. Color. Real quick. By the way, there is a spot for a lanyard right there. Alright, so how about a fake multi-cart? So here's my 36-in-1. This works on real Game Boy Advances. And let's hit it. And there's the menu. We'll just hit MotoGP here. And as you can see, runs just fine. And I'm sorry I'm all over the place with that. There we go. Okay, next. How about a Game Boy game? See? Nothing. And how about on the other side? Yeah, I put it in backwards. No. It doesn't run them. Which is something I'd heard about. Which is interesting considering this was made specifically to run Game Boy Advance games. It's 100% Game Boy Advance game compatible. It does not run regular Game Boy or Game Boy Colors like a real one would. Alright, so now here is the included cartridge. with ROMs. Now I was gonna do a big thing on how you get ROMs on here and how you have to arrange them, but after reading their instructions and then doing it, I found out that it doesn't matter. You can just do it however you want. So if you've got zipped ROMs, you can drop them right on there. It will unzip them for you. It will run them no problem. So all the supported game systems, the Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, blah, 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 they all run. I will make one note on the TurboGrafx and probably the Genesis. Yeah, they don't run perfectly, but the other ones do quite well. I'll note that here. Wait, let's go back. Beta return. And let's go to TurboGrafx and run Airzonk, which is one of my favorite games on the TurboGrafx. Unfortunately, it runs slow. It does run, but it's nothing I want to try. Here, come on. Here. So it's running, but super slow. So I'm guessing you could probably run some simple games on it, but the games that I want to run on here, it's not going to run it. So that's kind of a bummer, but that's okay. I've got the GPD XD for that kind of thing. But that is kind of a disappointment. That said, if you want to run your Game Boy, Color games on here, or your regular Game Boy games, let's power it up. Those run really, really well. And they look okay too. I mean, they're not perfect, but it's a small screen. I mean, I don't know how much you can really expect out of it running on a small screen. You do have a set of settings that you can get to by hitting both the bumpers. And back into the game. Oops, sorry about that, being at an angle. Video output for some of these is a little bit better actually, because it will scale it according to what it thinks the screen can do. So in this case, it's scaling the games for this screen, and that's something else to note. Even the actual Game Boy Advance games, they are scaled a little bit. Now, I think it looks good, but I know there's some purists out there who might get all kind of bent out of shape. And there is one other thing I want to show you real quick before summarizing everything, and I'm going to turn out some lights. I've turned out the lights because there's one more thing I want to show you, and no, it's not that thing. It's something about the screen. Now, the screen on the K101 Plus is beautiful. I really like it. However, you see right there? Yeah, there's light leak. And what you can't really see unless I zoom in, there is some light leak on all four sides. So there's light bleed here, and there's light bleed on all four sides. So if you are completely OCD, or even partially OCD, I would imagine that would cause you a problem. It doesn't bother me much, but if it's dark, you're definitely going to see some of that light leak. For sure. And yeah, I'm having a little bit of a hard time showing it on camera, but it's absolutely there. And I can't think that I'm the only one who's run into that. So note, there is some pretty nasty light leak there. Alright, I think it's time to sum things all up. So, how do I feel about the Revo K101 Plus? Well, I gotta tell you, I generally do really like it, but it's for a very limited audience. In other words, the audience is people who really want to play Game Boy Advance games on a device that's a bit better than the original. In other words, a bit larger screen, a bit brighter screen. You know, they want to try something brand new. I wouldn't get it for emulation. I think the emulation in general it's fairly shoddy. I mean, it's not terrible. This is the NES playing in the background. The NES works pretty darn well, but it's very hit or miss on what it emulates. That said, it's 100% compatible with the Game Boy Advance. You can plug real Game Boy Advance cartridges in it. That's a big deal. I do wish it would have been able to handle the Game Boy Color cartridges, however, because I'm always looking for a great way to play those games. But then again, I can throw a ROM on it and it'll play it just fine. Screen, as I said, is bright and colorful. I really do like that. However, the light leak, I just can't believe they didn't notice the light leak. It's got a lot of light leak. Again, it's not a deal killer for me, but I think for some people, that's going to be a big deal. Sound-wise, it's tinny, but then again, so was the original Game Boy, but it is a little bit more tinny than the Game Boy. Not terrible, but it is tinny. Button-wise, I really like the buttons. I like a little bit of mush in my buttons. and yeah, I'll wait for the comments on that. I like a little bit of mush in the buttons, and this has mush, and I enjoy that. I suppose if you're a person who really doesn't like mush at all, it's going to be a big deal, but to me, it has a good feel. Construction quality feels generally good. It doesn't feel like it's going to fall apart. The top buttons feel pretty decent, and they're nice and clicky. Enjoy it. Overall, this is a $100 device, so it's kind of on the high end there. And unless you are a huge fan of the Game Boy Advance, and I know I said this at the beginning of the summary, it's probably not for you because you can get a GPD XD, which will run pretty much everything on Earth that this will. I mean, it'll run everything that this will and more for around $160. So for $60 more, you can get something that runs a lot more. But for some of you, you know, that's a big price difference. Or you just really want to relive your childhood and you're not very interested in those other systems. Well, then the Revo K101 is a really good idea for you. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you have any questions about the Revo K101 Plus, you can leave them in the comments down below. If you enjoyed this video, it would be a huge favor to me to give me a thumbs up and subscribe for more of them. If you enjoyed this video so much that you want to stalk me, you can go to www.facebook.com/RetroRob, where I finally set up a Facebook page for myself. I do know that I used to have a private one, and some people did, not a lot, well, a few people did add me on there. However, I am switching it out for a more separated one at several people's suggestion. All right, thanks for watching this video again, and I will see you in a couple days. Bye.
Retro Rob's gaming videos.